What do we need to know about the energies for the week September 15th through the 21st? Welcome to Trevor's Tarot, Astrology, and Spirituality. First off, a huge thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel. Thank you for liking, watching, commenting on the videos, sharing the videos on your social media platforms, commenting and watching the videos all the way to the end and sharing them really help the channel grow. So huge, huge thank you. So the week of the 15th through the 21st, when I was sitting down to meditate on this. It feels like a week of confusion, a week of not really understanding the significance of certain events right away. It's like it feels like there are news events that come forward and they feel important, but we might not know why they're important. Um, it's a kind of a perplexing type of week. It's not an uncomfortable energy. It's just a kind of a, wonder what that's about. So let's narrow this down a little bit with some oracle cards, and then we'll do some tarot, and then we'll finish with some more oracle cards. What are we supposed to know for the week of the 15th through the 21st? Um, Take note of intuitive messages. I think this is exactly what I'm saying. Is like we're going to hear something. We may not think it's significant at the time, but there's going to be something that tells us it is. And that something is our intuition. And being the moon card here, this is not surprising. And given we're between the two eclipses, the solar eclipse or the partial solar eclipse will be on the 21st. So the beginning part of the week is really kind of smack dab between them, and then we're working our way towards the new moon and the solar eclipse. So that makes a lot of sense. And then we get Earth Mother, feel love and comforted. And I think that this is a week of release naturally, right? As the full moon wanes into the new moon. Um, it's kind of a time where we're able to release stresses if we so desire. We're able to kind of let go of a lot of our worries, a lot of our baggage. That doesn't mean that we're able to let go of them forever. Just for this short period of time, there's kind of this period of rejuvenation that is presenting itself. And, then we get autumn, which of course will be into autumn by the end of this week. Release the olds and rest. And this is exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that is the big themed energy for uh, taking advantage of, or the big themes to take advantage of, I think, is this ability to sleep. Like sleep is so hard during the eclipses. And I'm not saying sleep is going to come easy. What I'm saying is it's probably going to come easier. Doesn't mean we suddenly, if we've been sleeping horribly, we're sleeping great. If we've been sleeping kind of so-so, we might be sleeping great. But there's that potential, but it's going to require some discipline. It's going to require going to bed when we're tired, which if we haven't been sleeping well, that's actually kind of a difficult thing to do because in our minds it's like, well, we're going to go lay down and then we're not going to fall asleep, and if we do fall asleep we're going to be awake an hour later because it's only 9 o'clock and it's too early to go to bed. Well, maybe it's not this week. Maybe that's exactly what we're supposed to do. So I'm curious to see how this week develops on a rest level. It feels like a very restful week. um a confusing week as far as world events, but definitely a perplexing uh, week. Okay, let's see here. These are the deck with just the major arcana. So I'm just going to throw three. What are the big themes for the week here? What are the big themes for the week here? Big themes for the week. That's right. Balance, justice, balance, though, in our lives. The things that have been out of balance, we have the potential to put them back into balance this week. This is a great energy, justice. And we get the chariot card. There's like the days are gonna seem erratic, but at the end of the day, we kind of come back to the justice. We kind of come back to the balance. Midday things might not make a lot of sense. We're definitely going to notice a lot of uh, abusive power type situations. There are going to be some people dominating the news that perhaps are um, not the most pleasant to listen to. So, maybe turn it off. Um, if anything big happens, you're going to know about it. And we have the tower underneath. But I think this is the destruction of the stuff that really hasn't been serving us for the last several months. It's the destruction of the inability to sleep, the inability to rest, the inability to focus. All of those are slowly being torn apart. And we're slowly moving into this positive energy. Now, we don't get there for quite a while, but we're going to have moments of feeling it ahead of time. And I think there are going to be brief moments this week where we feel it. Um, Along with, some confusion and some just not really understanding the importance of certain events. We're going to look at them and we're going to know they're important, but we might not know why. I think this is going to be a common theme for the week. Both personal and on a geopolitical scale as well. Uh, really feels like a, a deep week of trusting our intuition in order to get the most out of it. And also just um, knowing, just this knowing that we're moving towards a period of uh, stability and joy and prosperity. Now, we don't get there until probably next summer, but it's going to slowly move towards there. I mean, nothing just happens overnight. So, I mean, we're going to start to feel it pretty soon if we're not already feeling parts of it. Yeah, stability. It's, the Four of Pentacles here, kind of the signifier card in the spread is all about stability and financial stability on top of that. And it does feel like even though maybe we don't have more money, and maybe we're even spending more money than we did the previous weeks, it does feel like there's like a little bit more at ease with it. Just a little bit more comfort. Um, and maybe that's because we've been saving. Maybe that's because we haven't been spending. And maybe we won't spend this week either. And maybe that's what the comfort's about, is restraining from buying big ticket items, perhaps. If we can't afford them. And we get the Emperor card too in the environment around. Yeah, there's going to be some geopolitical nonsense this week. There just is. There's going to be lots of absurd things said. We're going to find out about corruption and abuse of powers in multiple different countries with multiple different leaders. It's just this, the eclipse exposes that. So that's just going to be there. That's why I say little things might not like we might not get why these little things are super important to us, and the news media is not going to get it either, but we're going to take stock of it, and later on I think it comes out and it's super important. It's the Two of Pentacles. A lot of us are juggling things, maybe planning some trips for the holidays as well. um at least being on our mind and wondering whether it's going to be safe to travel and where and how, what mode of transportation we should use. um so there's also this ability this week to not necessarily picture the future because that's still shouted and at least the way I'm seeing things. But there's a looking forward to things that there hasn't been in the past, especially looking forward to doing fun things like getting together with family or going to visit a scenic site, whatever it is that it is you decide to do. There's a new level of like rejuvenation about life, I guess. It doesn't feel quite as heavy as it has. Now, does this last? I don't think so. It might just be a few days. And it's probably not the whole week, but there are going to be little moments like that. There are things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about with the high priestess. This is where that faith comes into play of just really kind of understanding that we don't get a choice. We have to move forward. There isn't another option here. So we're moving forward with the hope, the faith, whatever word you want to attach to that, uh, that things really do kind of improve. And it's going to feel that way this week. I really think it is. Um, Now, does that mean that things are actually improving? Maybe not, but I think it feels that way. And that's a reprieve from what we've had the last few weeks. There are going to be goofy moments of laughing, just people watching old television shows and laughing, reminiscing with family over, goofy stories about when so and so was a kid. These types of energies are just going to be prevalent. And so there's going to be a lot of joy this week to take advantage of. We get death at the center. This doesn't surprise me at all. I think I said this in the midweek reading that I thought we were going to pull the death card, and we did. Um, a cycle is ending and a new cycle is beginning. Could this be a physical death? It very well might be a physical death. That would not surprise me either. If it's not a physical death, that doesn't surprise me either. But what it is we know we're heading towards it. We know we're heading towards global change. There are going to be several world leaders that are either going to step down um, or pass on, uh, before the end of the year. There just are. And we can feel that. And it's a sense of relief for a lot of people. So I think it's okay. The Ten of Cups family's kind of a big deal this week. If you're estranged from your family, of course, by that then we mean the family of choice that we have. Our close friends we can consider them our family, that's for sure. It does very much feel like there's a lot of uh, a a need to connect. So this is good. And circles of support. Uh, you know, if we need support from our friends, they're going to be there for us. But the opposite has to be true too. We have to be there for our friends if they need support from us. So, I mean, it's a two-way street. Everything's pretty equal here. I think that's why the Justice card came out. Everything's pretty balanced, give and take, for the week. We do get loss, and this is underneath the Death card too. This does make me feel like there's, you know, sometimes when people pass, even if they're people we don't like, it makes us think of other people that have passed and, reminiscing on those memories and perhaps reliving some grief. And perhaps we're just going through grief right now. That's certainly an emotion that feels like it's prevalent. And again, families, you know, thinking about parents and children, um, and fur babies as well. It all feels pretty good. So I think there's a renewed sense of financial security. I think this comes from us not spending money, actually. Um, Death is kind of the center of everything, the end of the cycle and the beginning of something new. Whether it actually ends this week or not, I'm not sure. but the feeling is it's going to soon. So, and that brings a lot of comfort. And then, we'll definitely be thinking about children and parents and family and pets and all of those things because that's part of the circle of support for a lot of us, not for everybody. And by family, I mean a broad definition of family. This could just be friends. And so we're going to have the circles of support that are going to kind of help us understand or at least be comforted during this kind of uncertain time where we're not going to understand the significance of things. And it is very much going to feel like things are up in the air at times. Um, yeah, the news is going to be dominated by, leaders doing horrible things. But behind the scenes, things are kind of working themselves out. The things are going the way they're supposed to go. Uh, Definitely more attention to family, even if the family that we're paying attention to is already passed or we don't speak to them. Uh, all of these things are what's going on. So it's going to be a pretty interesting week. I think lots of chance for rest, lots of feelings of new beginnings. We know how to keep ourselves safe with the Nine of Wands and the Two of Cups here, reconnecting, connecting, and then the Ten of Swords, the end of a dark cycle, and then moving forward with the Six of Swords. So I think the energies are pretty good this week. I like them, and uh, I'm certainly not a pessimist, but the weekly readings, I don't always say that. But sometimes I tell you they're going to be pretty tricky weeks. So um, this week I don't know that it's easy, but I don't think it's as hard as some of the other energies we've gone through. So I think there's like a little reprieve here. And the reprieve might only last for minutes here and there, but those are the minutes we're going to remember by the time the week's over. Those are the spots we remember. So, all right, just some messages here. I think 3 cards is enough. The moth spirit, yeah, surrender now. It's about trust. That's tough. That's a tough energy to learn. Certainly. And then the badger spirit, be fearless and bold. Tell the universe what you want this week. If you want a better paying job, tell the universe. If you want more financial security, tell the universe. Sometimes we need to tell the universe what we want. That's part of the manifesting. And then the koala spirit has a plan. There is a bigger meaning here, and it's there. So, all right, thank you for watching. I'll be back with another video soon.